right, pizza review time. We are in Vegas. Dom Demarco's Pizzeria and Bar. Now, if you know me, you know pizza, you know Brooklyn, you know New York, you know the One Bite Pizza Fest. Dom is Fara. Inarguably, and he passed away, inarguably though, Fara, top 10 pizza places in the world. Famous, the works. We've had concert, they wore the 9-4, it's a 9-4 in Brooklyn. I didn't even know they had this. I know there's other Faras. I've never seen one named after the old man, Dom Demarco's. If you're gonna put Dom Demarco's name on a box, it better knock your dick off. It better, because he is an icon, and his name is gold in the pizza industry. So One Bite, everyone knows the rules. I'm trying to see if it is gonna be like the same as the Fara. I don't know why. You said, is this your spot?
Yeah.
So what is the deal? Why is it called Dom Demarco's, not the Fara?
I spent 3 years with him.
Okay.
And I made the deal with him to open up here under his name. We use everything he uses. Same
So it's the same pizza as the Fara, just different name.
Yeah.
Is
well,
this...
I have one in Caesar's Palace called the Fara.
Got it.
But this one here, I called it after him.
Got it. So this is the only one named after him that there is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. So where do you? They're good, great undercarriage. Where do you spend the 3 years with them?
In Avenue J and East 15.
So you're working with them then?
Yeah. Well, I went to him to learn. I made a deal with him. It took me 5 years to make a deal. I could tell you the whole story. It's interesting. 5 years to make the deal. Then after I made the deal with him, I was still living in Vegas. We go back on Sundays. He was closed Monday and Tuesday. We spend Monday and Tuesday with him and his son Dominic. We learned how to do everything. It took us 3 years, and then we opened here.
So an 8-year process total?
Yeah, it's a long story. It's too much for your thing, but I'll tell you when you're done.
All right. 8 years in the making. You gotta respect that. So we went and spent 8 years with him in Brooklyn to get the name, the pizza, to learn. Here we go. No pressure. Definitely has the vibes. A little thicker than I remember, but definitely has the vibes. Best of Las Vegas Review, Gold, Best Pizza, Best Italian Restaurant, Best Outdoor Dining. Oh, 7.9 on it. Just missed an 8.1 for me. It's a little thicker than I remember. It's still very good, and you can tell it has the vibes of Brooklyn, and it's as good as we've had out here. I like it a little tighter, but still very good stuff. So 7.9, Dom Demarco's. I'm curious, how many people know?
Go ahead and sit and I'll buy you a drink. I'll tell you the whole story.
How many people know who Dom Demarco is when they come here?
A lot of them.
They do.
Yeah, a lot of them. We got a lot of people in here.
East Coast people?
A lot of people from Avenue J. You won't believe it.
I believe it.
Come on in, buddy. I'll buy you a drink. It's an interesting story. You're gonna like it. I grew up in right outside of Trenton. Mm-hmm. My favorite pizza for my whole life was Di Lorenzo's tomato pie.
I love them.
In 2005. My son-in-law was building a hotel, which he built over here. And he ended up in White Plains, New York. And when they got done talking about the business, they started talking about pizza.
Yep.
So he tells the guy his favorite pizza is Di Lorenzo's tomato pie in Trenton. And the guy says, well, our favorite is the Fara. My son-in-law said, I never heard of it. The guy said, come on, we'll take it. So they take my son-in-law there. Now, my son-in-law traveled all over the world, called me a million times with pizzas, never one as good as Di Lorenzo's. He said,
found one?
He said, this pizza here is just as good as Di Lorenzo's. He said, you got to come out with me next week. Next week I fly out with him, we go to the Fara, right? Walked in, I tasted the square and the round, and I said, this pizza's really good. Now, I don't know any of them, right? So now Maggie, who I know really well now, but I didn't know her at the time, I went up to her, I said, honey, listen, I said, I'm a retired guy living in Vegas. I said, I'd love to bring this pizza to Vegas. A real cocky, she says to me. My father gets offers from the suits on Wall Street all day long. We're not interested in doing business with anybody. So I walked back to the table. I says to my son, I said, hey, this ain't going to be easy. So this is 05. So between 05 and 08, well, like 15 times a year, we're there. 15 times he gives me the cold shoulder. A little bit after that, one day I go in and she says to me, I'm going to turn you over to my brother Dominic. He calls the shots around here. For a minute, I got real excited. Now, you know the place, so I'm standing here. Margaret's there. The old man and Dominic Jr. have their backs to me, and she yells to him. She says, Dominic, this is Albert from Las Vegas. So I reach my hand, I'm going to shake hands with him, and he turns around and gives me one of these. He looks and he goes like this. I go back to my son-in-law. I said, you know, I said to her, I said, you put me from the frying pan, you could fire him. For a second, I was happy, right?
Yeah, right.
I said to my son, I said, these guys, I said, this is going to be really tough. Now, 2008, we opened a hotel. Now I got cards with my name on it. We go to White Plains to see Starwoods. That's what we went with, the Starwood Hotel. So I come in a pizzeria. I said to Jeff, that's my son. I said, we're walking in the door. I said, I got a different plan of attack. So I go up to Dominic, and I called him over Junior. I hadn't even met the old man by then. Junior comes over, and I says, look, I said, we just opened this hotel in Las Vegas. It's a beautiful hotel. It's not a casino. I want to invite you. You bring the whole family. You bring my guests. You stay as long as
I
you
got
want.
stuff. What hotel are we talking? Where's the
It's
Fara?
called The Element. It's right here on Town Center and 250.
Okay.
He gets the card. He puts it in his pocket, and he says to me, why would I want to go to Vegas? I got everything I want right here on my block.
Right.
I don't even need a car. I turned around, I went to my son-in-law, I said, before I punch this guy in the face, let's get out of here. We leave. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. Hey, Al, how are you? Who's this? Hey, it's Dom, how you doing? My best friend from Brooklyn, Dom Demarco, right? I said, I'm doing good, buddy, how you doing? Listen, he says, I went home, I showed that card to my wife. I didn't know she wants to come to Vegas. Does the offer still stand? I said, look, the offer stands. I said, but I want you to bring your father, your mother, bring your whole family. He said, listen, he said, my old man came here in 1957. He said he left Brooklyn 14 times. Every time only to fly back to Caserta, Italy. He said, he ain't going nowhere.
Right.
I says, all right. He says, well, look, I want to come. I said, you can stay as long as you want. He said, I only want to come for a week. I'm going to bring my wife. My son had this real big house with a kitchen outside with a pizza oven. So now every day we're over there making pizza, and I'm taking him to all the best restaurants in town. He's having the time of his life. So at the end of the week, he says to me, listen, the reason my father never did it is we import all our stuff from Italy.
Right.
And my father figured nobody's going to do this. They'll ruin our reputation. He said, but I could see you guys are serious. He said, so I'm going to recommend that we do it, he said, but I got to get his okay. Now, this was a Sunday. He goes back. He calls me the next day. My father wants to meet you. He said, look, you know, we're closed Mondays and Tuesdays, so come on a Sunday night. He says, and have dinner, and then Monday and Tuesday we'll meet with my father. So we did. We go there next week. So when I go there, 9 o'clock Monday morning, the iron gates are down, the locks, everything's locked up tight. Bang on the thing, he looks, he lets us in. Now, the old man, who I got real friendly with, and the kid are, well, he's not really a kid, he's probably your age or older. So now they says, come on, sit down with us, have a drink. Now it's 9 o'clock in the morning, right? I don't drink much. So now I'm drinking wine, 9 o'clock in the morning, my face is already, I can see I'm sweating. So the old man says to me in Italian, which I understood, Fiesta Paese, he wanted to know where in Italy we were from. I said, Cendola, Faria di Cendera, provincia di Salerno. He says to me, he's laughing. I said, why are you laughing? Hey, he said, I spent a 2 year in the Italian army over there. Good people, good people. So we shake hands and we made a deal. Nothing ever on paper. He says, all right, he says, on Mondays and Tuesdays, when we're closed, you guys come here, I'll show you everything. So we spent 3 years going back.
So every Monday, Tuesday, you're flying?
Well, not every one, but when we could.
Yeah.
We go back and we learned everything. Now, he had everything in there was from 19, you know, he opened in 65, but the stuff that he bought was all used. It was from the 50s. You know, a little oven, he can only fit three pizzas. So he's doing something, and he says, and a pinch of this. I said, Don, go get the scale. We ain't gonna got no scale. We mean a scale. I had to send it out to get a scale so we can measure everything. And then another thing he says to me was, he says, a blind man could make it the dough. Mama, what do you mean? He said, all in the field. The field, you needed the more salt. You needed the more oil. It's in the field.
He's an old,
I said, Dominic, how do I teach somebody that?
Well, it's like, how does anyone teach? He's like a magician, you know? It's this story, if you didn't know we were talking about pizza, you'd think you were just doing a Francis Ford Coppola movie with the way you were going there.
Oh, I got a lot of good stories about him. So when I opened up Caesars, right, they wanted the old man to come out.
Yep.
So they said, we'll fly him in a family first class. We'll put him in a big suite. We'll give him $2,500 for the week. All he's got to do is for 1 hour stand in and bite a pizza. So I called him up. What do you think he said to me? He said, you can give me $1 million and I no come.
This is a great story.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, take care. See you guys.